I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, hearts full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars, he's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the tank.
I am the tank, big
Big Tank Talk.
tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Big Tank Talk. Today, we're going to introduce you to one of my favorite clapper people and one of my favorite human beings, Bugz70. Bugz, welcome to Big Tank Talk.
Thanks for having me. I'm, just a little fish in this big clapper pond, so I'm honored.
The honor is mine to have you here and to introduce you to the rest of Clapper that doesn't know you, which is one of the reasons we do these interviews. So every interview starts with the same question. So tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be on Clapper.
Not much to tell. I'm just me. I'm not better than anybody else. I just try to be better than I was yesterday. I got over to Clapper because I met Val and Paul and them all over on TikTok. And we got tired of the shit that was going on there, and we all came over to Clapper and just kind of stayed.
So how exactly did you meet Gangsta Granny and Fear the Reaper? Val and Paul, for those who don't know them.
Scrolling through TikTok, and I ran into her live. She was actually live with some other ladies the first time I saw her. And it was their live, but like she carried the live. And then a couple of weeks later, I was scrolling again and she was actually live. And it was Paul and a couple of other guys. And after about 5 minutes of being in there, I knew I had found my people.
And how did they, I know Paul and Val are your besties of varying degrees, but how did they become your besties other than just people you knew on an app?
We've shared some moments, even though, Paul and I have not officially met in person yet, but Val and I have several times. And, there's just some moments in our lives in the last few years that we've shared, and we've been there to uplift the other one and basically keep us out of jail and keep us sane. Ish.
So I know Val has been to the States, and when I met Val, I also met you. So I know you guys have met in the States before. Have you gone to Scotland to see Val in her home country?
Yeah, I actually went over there in 2020 and spent 2 weeks over there. And I only spent a weekend with her. I should have spent the entire time I was there with her, but that's wasted words. But yeah, I actually got to meet her late husband Mike and spend the afternoon with them, and we went hiking with another creator that used to be on here, and it was just, yeah, Scotland is amazing, and I plan to go back before she fully transitions here.
Now, because I know you've been other than Val and Mike, who was the husband you referred to, what's your favorite thing about Scotland?
Oh, the food. The food is like you're in awe just going into the grocery store. Like everything's fresh. You can pick up the packaging and you can read everything that's in the packaging. It's not words that you can't pronounce or,
Right.
xanthamum gum or whatever.
Right, because most countries don't allow the additives that get put into American food into their food. So I get that. I lived in Italy, so I know what you're talking about. Before I go to the next question, I got to ask. Vanilla wants to know: do you prefer sativa, indica, or hybrids?
When I'm out and about and doing my thing throughout the day, I prefer a sativa. Uh, Indica, I could take it or leave it. It's a down kind of sleepy time. Hybrids, hybrids are my nighttime go-tos.
Okay, that's a question. If I ever interview Tabby, that's a question she'll get asked as well, because it wouldn't apply to me, but it definitely would apply to her. Yeah, Lena says if you could meet 3 clapper creators, who would they be? I assume she means meet them in person, not on here, because it's easy to meet them on the app.
Well, first off, Paul, of course, my best bestie, my darling Paul. Second, Gorilla. I want to have a smoke out with Gorilla. For sure.
I can understand that.
The third one, even though he is a pain in my ass, and I will forever call him Sock Daddy, but Rob, Hunky Spunky Monkey. I would love to meet Rob in person. He gives me such shit because I call him Sock Daddy, but I thought that was one of the cutest names he had, and it is stuck.
Rob is cool. I like Rob too. I'd love to meet him if I could. Val wants to know, how much did you enjoy playing the Flintstones with her?
So what Val is referring to is when I went over there, she had this like station wagonish looking vehicle, and
Right.
we're going like 70 miles an hour, and it's great. And all of a sudden we hit an incline, and I swear to you, I saw 2 little old ladies in walkers pass us.
That's
And
funny.
then about a couple hours later, she asked me if I wanted to drive over there, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good. No."
Now another question, and don't question where I got it. Just go with it. When you went to visit Val and the waterfall, what was the highlight?
So we're walking to the waterfall, following this path, and it's me, her, and a guy named Grandpa Mike. Right? Mike's a little bit shorter than me, so we get to this fallen tree, and it's pretty fair size, right? And Mike goes over it no problem, and I go over it no problem. And Val got stuck because her little leg would reach the other side. And then the other part, which I really should have set up my camera, the way she parked the car put my side of the car in a ravine. So when I stood next to the car, my kneecaps were at the bottom of the door. So I tell her, hey, you need to come over to my side. And she walks all the way around to my side. I said, so is this what it feels like for you to get in the car?
I'm sure it was a proud moment for Val. Welcome in, Piggy Positivity. Good to see you, brother. And as that's always, let's do a little more of the background questions. I know you're with Steve now, but have you been married and you've got kids?
I have
That's
been
2 separate
married.
questions.
I've been married twice. The first one, huge mistake. Him and I both agreed it was a huge mistake. It was for every wrong reason under the sun. We are still friends to this day. We still talk. My second husband passed away from pancreatic cancer. So I don't think I will ride the marriage mobile ever again.
I can understand that. And
Yeah.
you have grandchildren?
I do. I have one biological daughter. I have one daughter that was my late husband's, but she hasn't talked to me in a few years because her wife doesn't like me. But
Oh,
I
that's
have
right.
two grandsons. Eli will be 4 in October. Finley just turned 2 in May. And in November, I will get a granddaughter.
Congratulations.
I'm
You know,
excited.
I just had my third grandchild born in the at the end of May. So she's a little over 2 months old now, and uh, I just don't get to see her enough, but I keep trying. Um,
They are the reason I live in Indiana.
I get that. Now I know you're with Steve, so I have to ask this question. I don't mean any disrespect about it, but what's the deal with Steve and those sheep?
You know, that was previous to me. He had a thing for sheep prior to us getting together. I do, buy him little sheep toys to ensure, that his fetish stays over that way because I'm not dressing up like a sheep. No, it's
I
bad.
get it. And Steve, I say that out of love, brother. I don't mean any. Um, have you ever asked anyone to marry you?
Yeah, yeah, once.
How did that go?
Val? Well, she's married to Ted now.
Okay, now I do know you. You have been. I can't know. You're a minister, correct?
Yes.
How did that come about? And have you done a lot of weddings?
The reason I got ordained was actually to
That that was the word I couldn't
marry
remember.
Vamp and Dan. Was the reason I got ordained, and now it's just kind of become the thing. So this year, I married my bestie, and my evil twin.
That's awesome.
Later this year, I will be marrying Ryan, who goes by Herpes, and Jess, who goes by Dark Psycho. In October, I will be marrying them.
A wedding at which Tabby and I will be in attendance, and we'll get to meet Paul for the first time, which I'm really looking forward to. Um, I bet I could surprise you, Bugs. I've been ordained since 2019. I just
Nice.
haven't. I just haven't married anybody yet. I don't usually tell people, so I'm hoping maybe when my daughter and her baby daddy now, since they have the baby, when they decide to get married, maybe they'll let me do that. So, um, this might be a touchy subject with you, but can you tell us about being shadow banned?
Oh, if y'all go to my page, I haven't posted any videos or whatnot for quite some time. It was to the point where I was emailing Clapper multiple times a week because for the last 6 or 7 months, nobody has been able to see my comments on any of their videos. And the last video I made, they had to actually go to my page, not where I had shared it, to actually see my video. So I just recently finally got a hold of somebody at Clapper and they got the situation taken care of. So I am going to be starting some new content of all those do-it-yourself things you kind of see and you want to try, but you're really not sure. So I'm going to try them for you. And I'm going to post videos of how to make them. And then once I use whatever I'm making for a while, I'll go back and I'll clap back my original video to give you guys an update of what could be better. Did it work? Did it not work? Kind of stuff like that.
That should be phenomenal. John Nicholas, welcome to Clapper and welcome in. We are interviewing Bugz70 today. Stick around. You may learn a thing or two about Clapper while you're here. So, Bugs, Vamp wants to know, when did you become the master matchmaker? And why does she call you the master matchmaker?
Oh, thank you, Steve. I may or may not have had a hand in her and Dan getting together. I don't know, and to be honest, Vamp and Dan are not the first people I've gotten together. I have a really good knack for reading people at face value, and I actually introduced my older brother to his, well, ex-wife, but the mother of his children, and a couple of other people that I know.
Okay, so first, Ted wants to know what you're wearing to marry Ryan and Jess. Because anybody who knows it's a Halloween wedding.
Yes. Well, Steve and I have been dubbed Bonnie and Clyde numerous times throughout our years as being friends with everybody. So I believe we are going to be going as Bonnie and Clyde.
That should be interesting. You're going to like this one. Vito says, if he met you in person, would you dress like a furry?
If I could find the right costume, sure, why not? I mean, I do have a bumblebee costume, and I believe another costume, but I won't tell anybody what that is because Val has the same costume, and it's for next time she's here for something we're doing.
So let me ask you this. How many of your videos have been banned?
I've had, it's two, but I redid them and reposted them. Well, the one, when I redid it and reposted it, it stayed. The other one, I redid it and reposted it 2 more times and it got banned those 2 more times. So I guess that'd be like 5, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I've had a few more than that banned and an account on here banned as well. So, but that's questions Val can come up with me for me later. I gotta ask, how many tattoos do you have?
11.
And do they all have a meaning to you? I mean, are any of them just decorative, or do they all have? I know the one you and Val got recently definitely has meaning.
One is decorative. The rest, there is a meaning for each one.
Welcome in, Chiefs fan. Good to see you, brother. We are interviewing Bugz today, so if you have any questions you'd like for Bugz to answer, this would be a great time to ask it. Just type it into the chat. One of my mods will pin it, and we'll definitely get it asked.
Hey, to be honest, LD, my videos, okay, the one that I got re-put up was one with a butt, and I just put a rose in the butt crack and it stayed. The other one was like addressed to gay bikers, and it was not, there was nothing derogatory about it, just some person took offense to it and thought it was about him. I got better things to do with my time than to do something like that. Well, maybe just a little had to do with him, but I mean, I have another video on my account currently that is my bestie standing next to a large penis, and it's a real picture of a real penis, and it's still on my page.
Nice. So Liam came in right away. Wants to know what quality in Mr. Steve made you fall in love with him.
What quality in Mr. Steve? he's not a dick. He's he's thoughtful. He thinks about everybody but himself. Like, and just, you know, the saying nice guys finish last.
Yeah, that's not necessarily true though, but he is genuinely a nice guy. I'm glad I got to meet Steve when I got to meet you. He's a good guy and I like him. How did Val nearly lose her account? Lena, I'll get your question next.
So Steve and I came up with this. Well, it was mostly Steve. I added parts in, but to like have start a live and then, you know, do a fake D&D so everybody would start gossiping. Oh my God, what are those two doing? Blah 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 blah. And we
Right.
forgot that in a D&D, if you're a mod status, you can come back in the room after you leave. So
Right.
she came back in and we booted her out. And somebody else had already done that, so she actually almost lost her account due to that. And
Oh my.
that's actually right around the time Steve and I actually started talking.
Okay. So Lena wants to know if you could if you could dare someone, who would it be and what would the dare be? And that's a good question, Lena. And welcome in, baby. It's good
Wow.
to see you here.
That's kind of a hard one because like 90% of the people I know, it wouldn't even phase them. They do it in a moment. Uh, no, actually, I would dare Steve. I would dare Steve to actually be comfortable enough with himself to wear shorts out of the house.
That's absolutely fair. Liam wants to know, was it a culture shock moving from California?
Yes, only because of the fact that I feel I probably should have moved here sooner. That was like a real eye-opening culture shock because I felt I fit here better. I'm more relaxed here. The one thing that I dislike is that, yes, there's so many nice people over here on this coast, but when you find the shisty ones, they are really freaking shisty. And people around town talk, even though it's a bit larger town. And their Mexicans here don't know what Mexican food is. And their Chinese people seem to think that fried rice is bright yellow.
Right.
It's not.
Man, there's so many. I still got a lot of questions. Let's go with this one. What's your favorite kind of music and why?
I am very eclectic with my music. But hands down, I am a metalhead through and through. To be in a crowd of people who embrace you and embrace the music and the pumping of the guitar and the drums through the amplifier, shaking your body to the core, and the fact that if you're standing next to someone and they fall down, they're not going to get trampled like other shows. Like, you pick them up. Like, I made a whole family of friends from going to festivals in California that I still talk to and hold dear in my heart to this day.
That's really a well thought out answer. I like that. I am, while I like all kind of music, I love metal, so I can absolutely relate to that. I got Ted. I got
It's
your
an
question.
aggression release. Like it's as good as therapy. Like you go to a good metal show and you're into the music and the vibe, and I will guarantee that you will feel 100 times better when you leave, because all that stress and animosity and anger, and especially if you're ballsy enough to go into the mosh pit, like, yes, it
Absolutely.
looks violent, but
And Bugs, I call metal music my mood music, and it does help my mood every time. Um, Ted, I saw your question. Before I ask that, I'm going to ask this one first. Bugs, how do challenges and forfeits work?
challenges are things we do just to entertain ourselves. I basically, it's a double dog dare. We're gonna do these sets of challenges, but if you don't do the challenge, you get a forfeit, which is a bazillion times worse. So take the challenge. I went grocery shopping and asked the guy in the produce department where I would find condoms big enough to fit cucumbers. And he told me probably over by the pharmacy. And I said, thank you. And as I'm turning, he said, ma'am, did you need the cucumber? He understood the assignment.
That's really good. I like that. Now, Ted asked, "What's the worst challenge you ever had?"
Worst challenge. Having to go into a store without my headphones.
And did you still successfully meet the
I
challenge?
did. I will do the challenge. Bottom line, you go into any challenge and you just remember this: if you're being sent to a public spot, the likelihood that you're ever going to see those people is very slim, unless you're Val and you get banned from a store.
Okay. Now I got another challenges question. I'm curious if you can tell me, and I'm sure this is Val's thought processes, but I'm curious about the glitter colored water challenge, the Knicker Ninja challenge, the what is the other one? Thong challenge. Explain those. I mean, is this all Val's?
Okay, so the thong challenge and the ninja knickers, I believe, was started by another individual. Oh my God, I can see his face. I cannot remember his name. And we ran with it. And Juma, thank you.
Juma's an original.
Thong one, I believe, was off of someone else, but of course, my best bestie, you have to do this. So of course, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And the glitter one, I don't know where she came up with the idea of that, but we were actually live together on one camera, and then I had another phone set up over on the other side. So in the video, you could see the water coming. Yeah, that was cold, and there was a lot of glitter for days, a lot of glitter. But my nephew enjoyed throwing the water at me.
All right, I have a question, and I know Val's going to love this question, maybe as much as you do. You posted a video sometime back of behind the scenes footage of Gangster Granny getting ready for a live. I'm curious, where did you find this footage? Because it was brilliant.
I set up cameras at her house before I left and figured I could get some, content as content. The kicker about that video, I've got under 200 views on that video. She has like 5K-ish.
Now, everybody that knows Fear the Reaper, Paul, knows he loves to rickroll people. Have you ever managed to rickroll Paul?
Yes! Yes, I have! And it took me a long fucking time to do it, and I think I've done it twice. But my best video idea, yeah, and I believe it is on my page. It is the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, and that was one of my best video creations.
That was a good one. I remember that one. Now, Vanilla Gorilla wants to know, where'd you get the name Bugz from?
When I was little, my grandma called me her ladybug.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
forever I have been Ladybug, and it just shortened down to Bugs. And when I moved here to Indiana, I actually got my first personalized plate that says Bugs.
Now, here's a question, and the whole purpose of me asking you this is just so you can show this creator some love. I know he passed away some time ago, but can you tell us a little bit, those, especially those that I didn't know him well, but I know him. Can you tell us a little bit about Barry Meach and just show him some love?
Ah, Barry was an amazing guy from Wales. And he would take these walks, and he would be live while he was taking these walks in these beautiful countryside places wherever he was at, and he would chat. It didn't matter who you were or anything like that, or its status or anything. None of that mattered. Barry would have great, wonderful conversations with you as he was showing you these beautiful places that he was visiting. And yeah, it was truly.
I will say this, Bugs, because I didn't get to know Barry very well before he passed away. But and the interactions I had with him, he had a big heart, and he didn't mind making you feel like you were with a friend, even if he didn't even know you.
If anybody's never seen, I believe his page is still an active page, and he posted quite a few videos of places he had been, and his dogs and stuff. And he was just a good-hearted family man who just was polite and respectful to everybody, and just an amazing guy all around.
Yeah, I will. If you're interested, guys, I'll find his page here, and I'll post a link in one of my groups, or I'll send it to you if you're interested. Barry was a great guy. I wish I had known him better. Just quick question. You mentioned you and Steve have been together for a little while. How long y'all been together?
Two years, two and a
No.
half, right in there.
Okay. Now,
We just moved in together this year.
Paul has a question. He wants to know, what advice you've been given still resonates with you today?
The world doesn't revolve around you. Everybody seems to believe sometimes that they're the most important person in the world, no matter where they are. You know what? Yeah, you are probably the most important person in the world to somebody. But
Not to
if
everybody.
you're out in the world, you're not the most important person, and everybody's doing the same bump and grind all day long, no matter where you go. So, like, why you gotta be a douchebag? Like, just go with the flow. Don't scream at people. Don't belittle people. Just go with the flow. No matter if you're a dick or going with the flow, it's not going to change everything. Everything's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. It all happens for a reason when it happens.
Now, a question you probably never thought I'd ask you, so I'm going to ask you. If you could go back in time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
That life is not a party. The party ends and life is continuous. As long as in the midst of your party, you don't lose your life in that party. So I would have told myself to make better choices of my friend circle and the condiments in which I chose to partake with.
Fair enough. I'm going to try and get this. I'm not sure of Vito's question. I'm thinking what I think he's asking. If you could go back in time, is there anything that you regret that you would change?
No, all of it makes me me. There's only one moment I would change, and that is I actually pushed my grandmother down 2 steps to get to the door to get out of the house. And I that is the only thing in my entire life I regret. I made some fucked up choices and they defined who I've become today, and I wouldn't be the semi-rounded individual I am had I not lived the life I have. But that is the one thing that I should have never done.
That's fair. I absolutely get that. Ted wants to know, what's your favorite childhood memory?
My grandparents taking me and my brothers. They had one of those pop-up trailers, and they took us down to Escondido to where my aunt lived, and we camped there, and we went to San Diego Wild Animal Zoo, the San Diego Zoo, we went to Knott's Berry Farm, Magic Mountain, Disneyland. It was just the vacation that out of my childhood that I will never forget. I have a picture of me sitting next to a live black bear. I have another picture of me sitting on a live lion, and my older brother sitting next to the lion.
Fair enough. Liam, Casey, Chiefs fan wants to know, who has influenced you most in your life?
My grandmother. Had it not been for her, I probably would have ended up in the foster system. And that probably would have made 2 even poorer choices in my life scope. She's the reason I'm very meticulous and why I run my household the way I do and carry myself the way I do. She gave me my work ethic.
That's good. That's a great answer. Jay Marie says, of all the places you've been, what places or things would you like to see or do again? What places or things we'd like to see or do again?
I definitely want to go back to Scotland for sure, 100%. I don't think there's any other places I'd really like to go back to. There are new places that I would like to discover. A lot now that I'm here on the East Coast, like there's so many new things and places around me. Like I got to go down the Bourbon Trail and I went to Maker's Mark and dipped my own bottle in wax. Now, mind you, I've never drank Maker's Mark. I have no idea what it tastes like. But I know that every one of their bottles is hand dipped, and that fucking amazes me. And if I lived closer, that's the job I would shoot for.
Right on. Ted says, why mismatched socks?
who has time to worry about socks? There are bigger things in life that I need to worry about than whether my socks match. And as a matter of fact, Ted, I have one green and black sock on and one pink and black sock on today, sir.
That's a good answer. Now, just to show you, I did go deep dive. You know, I did. Can you tell us about Ladybird?
Uh, I got Ladybird. This lady had 2 kids and she was expecting a third. And Ladybird was a Beagle Basset Hound. And the lady gave her to me. And for the whole time I had her, she had never barked. I'd never heard her bark, even though being part Basset Hound, until I got a cutout of James Dean. And we set up this cutout, and she just went ape shit and was howling. So at the time of that, I shared a house with my parents, and they were moving to their own apartment. Well, my Ladybird had taken a liking to my father. So when they moved, I let him take Ladybird with him. And then when my mom passed away, I had my dad, I moved to a whole nother house so that I could have a room for my dad to come live with me. And Ladybird came back with him. And then when my dad passed away, I kept Ladybird. I actually, her ashes are in my dining room in a tub right now. And
Yeah,
I have my parents' ashes and their cat's ashes down in my basement. So I'm going to be getting like an urn or something and putting all of them together.
I knew Ladybird meant something to you. That's why I asked. I hope that was okay.
That is, you kind of caught me off guard there. She was a good fucking dog for being just. Man, she'd get the zoomies for being as old as she was and as thick as she was. Man, she would chase Rusty full circle around the backyard. She'd have loved living out here.
Ted, I'll get to your question in a second. First, I need to know, Bugz, have you ever actually known anyone that used a banana cleaner?
You know, I have my suspicions of people that I think have used a banana cleaner. I have some that, they really should use a banana cleaner because they really need to release some tension.
And folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, go into Bugz' content and watch her video about the banana cleaner. It's hilarious. Now, Ted says, what makes you happy and what makes you sad?
There's not one thing that makes me happy. Like, it's little moments like watching my grandsons play around with each other or talk. I hear that they talk about me at school, or maybe cooking my favorite food, or just sitting in my yard. It's just the little things, because the little things matter.
Yeah, the little things that as you go through your life, and I'm a bit older, I mean, a little older than you even. Yeah, it's the little things that you tend to remember that end up being more important. The big things typically aren't that big a deal anyway. Steve wants to know, how was it knowing you got away with the spider incident?
That was you, man. I don't understand why you keep trying to blame that on me. I was in charge of the cat stickers. So I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
All right, Steve, that's between you and Bugz. Y'all can figure that out. Jay Marie wants to know, what's your favorite food to cook?
I'm a fat kid, any food really. But no, I've geared myself now towards I don't want as many processed foods, so I'm about to start I just bought a bunch of canning stuff at an auction. I've got like over $500 worth of stuff for like $45. So I'm going to start in my do-it-yourself stuff. I'm going to start trying to learn how to can um, to see how that goes.
That sounds like a reasonable thing to me.
I
Besides
like to
Scotland,
cook to make people happy.
besides Scotland, because you made it clear Scotland's somewhere you want to go. Where else would you like to go visit and why? We'll set Scotland aside. We know that's high on your priority list already.
I would like to go to Japan. I've seen clips of like some of their foods and their street foods and their vending machines and just kind of stuff like that. And for the first year that I lived in this house, I guess the previous resident had one of those boxes that come every month with different foods from the around the country. So for the first year I lived here, every month I was getting a box from a different part of Japan with snacks in it.
That's really cool. You'll get a kick out of this question. Vito wants to know how many times has Gangster Granny bit your ankles?
No, never bit my ankles. She did pee on my ankles, but I'm assuming that was marking the bestie territory.
That sounds reasonable. Now, I have to ask you about this. In your past, that people, if they visit your content, will see several videos on this. You used to do a blog called "Is It Even Relevant?" What started that, and then why did you stop it?
What started it is I was going through, well, I was originally packing to put all my stuff into storage, and I was going to go to Val's for 6 months and live over there with her. And my daughter came to me and said, remember when I said if we wanted to move to Indiana, and you said if you did, you would give up a year of your life to come help get us settled. So that's what I chose to do. So that series came about because I kept talking about it, but like it didn't seem like anybody cared about it. So I was like, well, is this really relevant to anyone? So that's where my series came about. And the series of events that occurred once I got here forced me to stop doing the series because, when I got here, as you can see in the last part of my series, we got here and we were homeless, living in an Airbnb, and it was just, I found out they had like $100 left, and I was being blamed for everything because my daughter was like 6 or 7 months pregnant, so hormonal stupidity, and it just felt like I really needed to stop making my videos and make sure that we got a place, we got jobs, and we got settled. And we hit some snags along the way, but now we both have our own separate houses and we all have good jobs.
That's a good thing. Do you ever see yourself revisiting that series?
Maybe.
I'm just curious because I really like it, and I watched several of your videos. I didn't necessarily comment. I didn't want to give away what I was coming up with for questions, but I really did enjoy the series. Teresa, welcome in. I'm sure that you're putting your hand up was accidental because you've been in these interviews before. So a couple of questions. First, what happened with your knee and how long did it take you to recover?
Oh, basically what happened to my knee was an enigma. We have no idea. We never figured out why it happened. So I'm at work one day. I move some furniture around at work. Next day I get up, my knee is a little sore. I'm like, okay, I'm older. I have arthritis. I get it. Cool.
Yep.
I'm at work. I'm kind of putting things back together at work. And by the time I ordered lunch, my knee was 3 times the size, and I was crying at work. And that's a rarity. I don't usually cry in front of people. That's my own personal preference. And so much so that the ladies in the back office came up and they took me to the ER, even though I told them I could drive, which I probably couldn't have. I got there. Go
Excuse
ahead.
me a minute, Bugs. Teresa, this is an interview show. Ordinarily, in any other live, I'd be happy to have you come up. But during the interview, the only people in boxes are me as the interviewer. And in this case, Bugs is the person I'm interviewing. All right, Bugs, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. So I get in the ER. They do an x-ray. They don't see nothing. They send me to orthopedic, who shoots me full of steroids. So needless to say, there was a series of events. I ended up having to call an ambulance because I couldn't walk down the steps. I get back to the hospital. They admit me. They found a blood clot behind my right knee, and then were going to tentatively discharge me. And Steve called patient advocate services because at this point, I was still screaming in pain. My knee was still fluid filled. They brought in a whole different doctor. They ended up pulling fluid out of my knee. The infectious disease department did, and found out that I had arthritic septic infection on my knee, and they cut my knee open basically like I had my knee replaced, and scraped all of that out of my knee.
What a blessing!
So
What a blessing to have Steve there to advocate for you.
it was, and I ended up being at the hospital for 15 days, and then they sent me to a rehab convalescent hospital for another 15 days, which that's a really long story. Really, really
Tabby,
long. And I lost my job too.
that's, Tabby wants to know how much did Vamp's visit help with your knee?
Well, when Vamp finally did get over to see me, I was sitting out on my porch, and Vamp was not watching where she was walking, and hit my foot, which twisted my knee,
Oh
which
my.
instantly brought me to tears. Now, the fact that she sent my loaner hubby to help me, that was amazing. That was seriously amazing. And the nurses actually thought we were fooling around in my room because he was rubbing my knee and my foot and my leg and moving my leg so much so that I guess I was making some noise.
At this time, Bugs, I'd like to take a minute and announce that this at 3:00 next Sunday, August the 3rd, my guest will be Riley Rebecca. She's an amazing person. I'm really looking forward to that interview as well. And I hope you guys will visit next week and help me question and get to know Riley and present her like we're presenting Bugs. Now, Lena says, if you could revisit a time in your past of a love line that's no longer here, would you, and who would it be?
It'd be Eric. Eric, I was young, and instead of communicating how I felt about the situation, it was like a constant party at our house. And instead of my communicating that, I just left.
Right.
I just left. And we did get back together sometime later, but series of events that occurred between then and then were just not functionable. And then right after we had kind of been seeing each other the second time, he actually had a massive seizure and passed away.
I understand. I'm sorry that happened. Bugs, as it typically happens, I'm running out of time, but I wonder if you could brief. I know you've recently undergone a career change. Could you just give us a brief overall what you did, what you do now, and is it a positive, the career change?
I did property management for the last 21 years. When I had the issue with my knee and lost my job, I actually applied to a construction. Well, it's a sign company, basically the guys that go out that put the cones out and the traffic lights and the flagging and when there's traffic zones and stuff. I work for a company that supplies and sets up and takes down all those signs. I couldn't be more happy with my decision to move away from property management. I love my job. I've talked to my boss in the short time I've been there, and he is absolutely ecstatic with what I've done. I actually went out in the shop and got certified to drive the forklift, which
Nice.
none of the other ladies in the office have ever done. So he wants to train me to be an assistant project manager.
That's awesome.
So I'm currently in the process of learning that. I took a little pay cut to take this position, but it's not as stressful. And if my coworker comes in, I could tell him to fuck off, and my boss laughs about it. So
like Tabby says, your knee injury turned out to be a blessing in disguise then.
it actually did, because it actually got my brother to move out here, and he is flourishing in his life. And
I'm glad to hear that. I know family's important to you. I know family's important to you, so I'm glad your brother is flourishing out there. I do have more questions, but I don't have really more time to ask them. So at this point, Bugs, what I'd like to do is something I've started in the last few interviews, is I want to give you an opportunity to do a shout out, the subject of which is totally up to you.
I want to shout out the haters. I want to shout out the people who are so fucking childish and petty on this app, who again are sometimes in that circle of they think everything's about them, who block people because they're friends with somebody else, like, or want you to intervene in an argument between two friends. No, that's between y'all. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm friends with both of you. But if you are going to act like a juvenile, TikTok's 2 apps down, man.
Yep.
Like, be an adult. Be about yourself. Own it. If you fuck up, own it. Like, don't be a twat waffle.
Absolutely, Bugs. And I want to go ahead and add on. I want to shout out first and foremost, and I will do this every week. I'm going to shout out Fear the Reaper, my dear friend Paul, brother from another mother, without whom I can't do these interviews, have them recorded, and being able to put them on YouTube every week. And Paul makes that possible. So, Paul, shout out to you. I also want to shout out my mods here. If you see the mod after their name, number one, they're close to my heart. They're some of my favorite people on the app, and they really take care of us so that when I'm doing this interview, all I have to worry about is doing the interview. We get trolls come in, they boot them out. I don't ever have to worry about it. So a shout out to the mods. And first and finally, but not by any means, not the least, I have to shout out Chuzzlebug, my sweetheart Tabby, because she takes better care of me than I probably deserve. And she makes sure that it's possible that when I do stuff like interviewing my friends every week, that there's nothing that intrudes with that. So, guys, I really appreciate all of you. This has been a fantastic interview, Bugz, and I am so glad you decided to let us question you. And hopefully, it wasn't as painful as you anticipated.
No, it wasn't. I didn't think it would be. I've been to many of your interviews, so I appreciate you having me for being such a small creator. And you know, if you guys want to go check out my page, go do it, because some of the videos I'm going to be taking down because I think I'm going to revamp my page and start with a couple of new series and maybe pick back up on my is it really relevant to anyone?
I do hope you do that one because I really did enjoy watching those videos.
Just
Some of the
ask.
stuff absolutely not relevant to me, but that's the beauty of us. You know, everybody's different. What's important to me might not be important to you. But if you're doing this on a regular basis, you're going to hit on things that appeal to somebody every step of the way. So,
Yep.
Bug, I
Everybody,
love
the
you.
last thing I want to say, be better tomorrow than you were today.
Absolutely. Bugz, I love you and I appreciate you taking the time to be my guest today. And with
Thank you
that,
so much
folks,
for
y'all
having me.
have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you guys on the Clapper Streets.